All right, welcome back. Continuing to work on the Catalina here, and I've got those wings together along with the sponsons and their supports, so all of that is dry fit and ready to go. And then on those wheels, since I'm going to represent them up, I thought it was better to cut off the landing gear there and have that inside to better support that upper piece and hold that in the proper position. Then I continued to clean up all the pieces, including that front turret. I have that ready to go now, as well as fitting the stand. So here I'm kind of figuring out how it should go. And then I notched out the two fuselage pieces and then supported them with some sheet styrene. And so here I'm simply just holding those two pieces together, and that's in there pretty firmly. So then I proceeded to put those interior parts inside, one on each side, and then I found a decal I think is going to work. So again, just test fit those two sides after those inserts dried, and then went ahead and glued all the windows into place. And then the masking. So after some sanding and buffing of some pretty significant scrapes and marks in the clear parts, I started out with that 2mm tape and outlined all the windows, and then went back and filled them in with larger pieces. So did the blisters and then the inner blisters, and then that turret, and then finishing up with the cockpit. So yeah, that's how I spent my weekend. And sorry, Shawn, I did not realize there'd be this much masking when I chose these kits. So then came back and did the interior painting on the fuselage and went, 331 I think, with that clear base, and did the interior of the fuselage there, along with the clear parts, so that when you look at those from the inside, they'll look green, and then I'll cover the outside with the body color. And then I went ahead and scraped all the mating surfaces on the two halves of the fuselage, including those slots in the walls where that floor fits in there. And then on these intakes for the engines, if you look at my references, you can see they actually require like these two little slats in there. So I drilled open the front of those with successively bigger bits, and then went to my panel bits box and fashioned two slats and glued those in there. And there you can see the results. I think it came out pretty good. Then I got all the parts ready to prime and did them both in the black and the white, starting with the black there. Then came back to the cockpit and put that decal I found in there, and then put that floor and the seats in there to complete the cockpit. Then after a little bit of test fitting and fixing, I went around and brought those two halves together and worked all the seams, and then went back with my scribing tools and rescribed some of the lines that I had obliterated when I was fixing those seams. Then I finished the detail painting on all of the crew, and then tested those gunners in those sides, and then actually put the pilot and co-pilot into the plane, and then constructed the front and rear wings and all the moving parts within them and the control surfaces to make sure that all those move. And after laying down the primer, the white primer, came back and masked that, and then laid down that Mission Models blue-gray. And yeah, these Mission Models, not the greatest. I'll come back to that in a minute. So have everything ready to pull together there, constructed the wings, and then came back with my black stripe decal and did the fronts of all those control surfaces. I believe those are de-icing boots. So recreated those, and then with some Lego supports holding it all straight, I then attached that upper wing to the main support there on the fuselage and doused that with the extra thin and just let that dry overnight. And then while that was drying, went ahead and started putting on some of the decals, the insignias there on the wings, as well as the ones on the front up there below the cockpit. And on this side you can see I messed up on that decal and had to slide it back, and sure enough that Mission Models scuffed. It's so delicate, it's ridiculous. And you can see here and there where I had these, scrapes or whatever from just normal holding it. And that's under a clear coat. So I had to go back and repair all of those. So have this on there straight and put those supports on, and then the supports wouldn't line up. So the front one on this side and the rear one on that side were okay. But then the rear one on the right was too short and the front one on the left was too long. So what I did is cut some off of that rear one, shaved it off, and then took those shavings and added them onto the end of the other one, and then I'll put it in on this side. Then to install that base, what I did was built, again, some Lego supports, got it all straight, kind of the way I wanted it, and then took the super glue and went in from the sides there and basically just pooled the medium thickness super glue around the connection point there, kind of looking in on this side and putting it in on the other side, and let that pool solidify overnight, and then came back and reinforced that connection point at the bottom of the stand. And now that that strut is fully dried, I'll go ahead and install that on this side, and then go ahead and put the rest of those details on, and then put the rest of the decals on. The most famous and successful flying boat ever built was the consolidated PBY Catalina, which not only served the U.S. Navy, but also with the air forces of Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the Netherlands, and the Soviet Union. In fact, the first foreign sale was to the Soviet Union in 1938, which bought 3 Catalinas and a manufacturing license. The PBY was involved in almost every major Allied operation of the war, and figured significantly in defeating the U-boat menace in the Atlantic. In response to an October 1933 order from the Navy for a monoplane patrol aircraft, Consolidated Aircraft designed the all-metal Model 28 with a number of unique features, including a parasol-mounted wing incorporating internal bracing to reduce the need for external struts, and retractable stabilizing floats that folded upward to become wingtips in flight. The overall effect was an aerodynamically clean aircraft far superior to previous flying boat designs. The aircraft, with a crew of 7 to 10, was powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney engines producing 825 horsepower each, is armed with 3 machine guns, and could carry 2,000 pounds of bombs. Due to its substantial bomb load capacity, the aircraft was designated a patrol bomber. Later models equipped with radar and magnetic anomaly detection equipment were operated throughout the Atlantic, Mediterranean, and Pacific. Not only did the Catalina figure significantly in disrupting U-boat operations, it also proved ideal in long-range reconnaissance, night anti-shipping missions, and air-sea search and rescue. The venerable Catalina served in every theater of the war. In all, 3,276 PBYs were built. The plane I built represents the first American aircraft to land on Guadalcanal after the Americans took control of the airfield in 1942. Even though most of the division's heavy engineering equipment Navy transports were delayed, the resourceful Marines soon completed the airfield's runway with captured Japanese equipment. On 12 August, Admiral McCain's aide, William Sampson, piloted his PBY-5A Catalina flying boat to a halt on the runway of what was now officially Henderson Field, named for a Marine pilot, Major Lofton R. Henderson, lost at Midway. Admiral McCain pronounced the airfield fit for fighter use and took off with a load of wounded Marines, the first of 2,879 to be evacuated. All right, there she is on the shelf, and yeah, I had to spread some stuff out to make room for it. It's 1:72, but it's still a big kit. A lot of fun building that despite some of the problems. It's a fairly challenging kit and had to do some compensating corrections like on those struts and then all the masking. But overall, it was a fun kit to build, and I will never use mission model paints again, I can tell you that. I would have weathered this, but it wouldn't even hold up to decals, so I stopped here. Yeah, not happy about that. But I was happy to do a buddy build with Shawn, and we've been texting back and forth, and his is really nice as well, so I'm sure you'll see that soon. And what a great guy. So thanks again, Shawn. And as always, hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching, and happy modeling.